Brooklyn Beckham didn't just drift away from his famous family. He dove headfirst into a totally different universe, a world dripping with billionaire cash, private island getaways, $10,000 bottles of wine, and a level of luxury that even the Beckham name can't quite match. And right in the middle of it all stands Nicola Peltz, glamorous, confident, and surrounded by power. While everyone online has been obsessing over emotional interviews, wedding rumors, and that awkward silence between the families, the real story hiding underneath all the noise feels way deeper and way more uncomfortable. We're talking about power, money, and control. Who actually runs the show now? See, Nicola Peltz didn't just marry into fame, she was born into an empire. Her dad, Nelson Peltz, is a billionaire investor with an empire that's been built through decades of big money deals and boardroom battles that shape corporations around the world. This isn't flashy celebrity money, it's private jet move the market kind of money.
Victoria and David's commercial.
The best thing I've ever seen.
Best thing you've ever seen. Are they always that funny?
Yes. They're hysterical. She's hysterical. They're both hysterical. But she is so funny, and that commercial killed me. I was like, they deserve an Oscar for that commercial.
Since marrying Nicola, Brooklyn's been fully absorbed into that high-roller lifestyle. He's not just living comfortably, he's living in a reality most people can't even imagine. Lately, the internet's been buzzing with claims that Nicola's dad gives her a $1 million monthly allowance. That number's been debated, sure, but one thing's clear. Nicola has access to wealth and freedom that go far beyond Hollywood fame. Recently, the couple was spotted living it up at one of California's most exclusive luxury resorts, a hidden retreat where royalty, A-list stars, and global power players go to escape. It's the kind of place where privacy comes with a price tag that only the ultra-rich can afford.
What is that relationship like, just walking around the house with them? Are they just the best?
They're really the best people. And I'm so excited Victoria's here tonight, and it means the world to me. She made my outfit, she customized this beautiful look, and I'm just so happy to have her here tonight.
During that lavish getaway, Brooklyn dropped photos online that instantly blew up across social media. On the table sat an ultra-rare bottle of wine worth tens of thousands of dollars, one of the priciest bottles ever made. This wasn't just some casual dinner snap, this was a statement. Every detail screamed power and exclusivity. Brooklyn and Nicola looked completely at ease, cozy and unbothered, sipping rare wine and basking in luxury like it was nothing. They strolled through picture-perfect gardens, posting flawless shots that oozed calm confidence and wealth. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, David and Victoria were making their own kind of statement, standing united, poised and polished for the cameras. That quiet split-screen moment said everything. The Beckhams built their fortune through grind and global branding, while the Peltz empire runs on old money influence and silent control. David and Victoria's fortune, hundreds of millions strong, comes from years of non-stop work, endorsements, and their ability to turn their names into a worldwide brand. Their image is shiny, clean, and carefully managed down to every detail. But the Peltz fortune? It's something else entirely. It's deep, private, and not built on public approval or attention. And that's where the tension really heats up. For years, David and Victoria have stood by one rule when it comes to their kids: independence has to be earned. Brooklyn was always supported, but never spoiled endlessly. The plan was for him to carve his own lane, build his own legacy, and prove he could stand tall without leaning on the Beckham name.
I'm so excited that my family's here and that everyone is here and they came out, and I'm just so happy that I get to have everyone I love in one room, and I'm so excited to show them the film.
Nicola's world plays by a totally different set of rules. In the Peltz family, wealth isn't earned, it's inherited, multiplied, and protected. Generational money isn't about survival, it's about power, comfort, and control. Nicola grew up surrounded by private jets, mega yachts, couture wardrobes, and five-star vacations, not as once-in-a-lifetime luxuries, but as her normal routine. Since marrying her, Brooklyn's day-to-day reality has been completely transformed. Now he's living in a multi-million-dollar Beverly Hills mansion, cruising on super yachts and jet-setting between elite destinations without even glancing at the price tag. Nicola's handbags alone could buy a brand new car, and for them, that's just another Tuesday. Their life isn't about chasing dreams anymore. It's about existing in a perfectly insulated bubble of privilege. And that's exactly where the rumored tension really kicks in. Behind closed doors, whispers claim that Victoria Beckham is holding on to text messages she believes could reveal who the real Nicola is. These texts reportedly tie back to the wedding drama, the infamous dress situation, and the growing emotional gap between Brooklyn and his parents. Sources close to the family say Victoria hasn't leaked a single thing yet, not because she doesn't have the receipts, but because deep down she's still holding on to hope that her son might find his way back. That tiny detail says everything.
I loved it. It was fun. Like, I loved walking around with the belly on set. That was great. Brooklyn was like, oh, I like this.
While Brooklyn's been open about his side of the story, David and Victoria have stayed completely silent. No interviews, no subtle digs, no online shade, nothing. But make no mistake, that silence isn't a sign of defeat. It's the calm before something much bigger. That silence isn't weakness, it's restraint. But behind that calm front, insiders whisper that something deeper is happening inside the Beckham circle. Privately, David and Victoria are said to be heartbroken, worried, and completely shaken by how quickly Brooklyn's life has transformed. They want him home, but not at any price. There's love, yes, but also a quiet line they refuse to cross. According to those close to them, the Beckhams believe a reunion could still happen, but only if Nicola is out the picture. And that's where everything shatters. Brooklyn's made it crystal clear that Nicola isn't just his wife, she's her safe zone. He's called her her protector, his biggest supporter, and the one who brought him peace after years of pressure and anxiety. From his point of view, walking away from his family wasn't rebellion, it was relief. In Nicola's eyes, Nicola isn't controlling him, she's freeing him. But from the Beckham side, the story looks painfully different. They see a son who's become financially unreachable, emotionally wrapped up, and fully absorbed into a family whose wealth outshines even their global empire. The balance of power has completely shifted, and this time it's not in their favor. Meanwhile, Brooklyn and Nicola are out here showing nothing with confidence. Golden sunsets, romantic songs, luxury backdrops, they're posting a life that looks untouchable. Every photo, every video, every caption sends the same loud message. They're happy, independent, and don't need the Beckhams to shine. But underneath all that glamour, one burning question still hangs in the air. Is this story really about love and freedom, or something far more complicated? Or has Brooklyn quietly slipped into a world so rich, so untouchable, that reconciliation just doesn't matter anymore? And if the Beckhams truly believe Nicola is the force pulling him away, how long can Victoria hold back those messages before everything blows up even bigger? The tension isn't just emotional, it's financial. Because when money changes the power balance, everything else shifts too.
Brooklyn isn't the same son who once needed approval or compromise. He's now part of a dynasty where financial security is permanent. No deals, no negotiations, no worries. His life is set. That kind of wealth changes every private conversation behind closed doors. And when reports dropped claiming Nicola receives a $1 million monthly allowance, the world didn't just gasp, it shook both families to the core. Even though insiders from the Peltz side tried to downplay that number, the symbolism hit harder than the figure itself. It sent a crystal clear message. Nicola doesn't rely on Brooklyn, and Brooklyn doesn't rely on the Beckhams. That's the kind of power shift that rewrites family dynamics overnight. For years, David and Victoria were the center of gravity, the powerhouse that their kids orbited around. Their name meant opportunity. Their empire meant access, and every move was polished under the global spotlight. But now, Brooklyn has stepped outside that system completely. He's backed by old money, a fortune that existed long before fame, untouched by public opinion or brand deals. And that reality has turned the once perfect Beckham balance upside down, with no clear way back. And here's where insiders say the real fracture runs deep. Because while Brooklyn describes his choices as emotional freedom, those close to the Beckhams allegedly see it as something very different: detachment built on luxury. When you're surrounded by unlimited money and zero consequences, fixing relationships starts to feel optional. If your lifestyle stays untouched, why bother rebuilding bridges? Those glossy photos of Brooklyn and Nicola sipping rare wine at a private resort only made that perception louder. At the exact moment the Beckhams were standing together in Paris, polished, united, and presenting a picture of family strength, Brooklyn and Nicola were doing the total opposite. They weren't hiding, weren't backing down. They were flaunting how unaffected they were by all the drama. Every shot, every pose, and every carefully chosen caption screamed the same message: we're good. Each image looked deliberate. Each song attached to a post carried a hidden tone, cool, calm, and confident. But behind the Beckhams' quiet front, Victoria's silence has become the most intriguing part of all. Sources close to the family say Victoria knows exactly when everything started to crack and exactly who sparked it. She reportedly suspects that Nicola wasn't just a bystander. She was the one who pushed Brooklyn to go public, to set the narrative before anyone else could control it. And those texts Victoria is said to be keeping, allegedly they paint a totally different version of events from the flawless image Nicola shows online. Yet, even with all that, Victoria's kept them locked away, for now. Not yet, and that hesitation speaks volumes. Because even after all the drama, the public tension, and the quiet humiliation, David and Victoria Beckham are still moving like parents, not rivals. Insiders say they're painfully aware that once certain lines get crossed in public, there's no walking it back. If those private messages ever got released, it could destroy any chance of rebuilding trust forever. But behind closed doors, their stance hasn't softened one bit. Sources claim the Beckhams would welcome Brooklyn home instantly, but not if Nicola's still in the picture. They reportedly believe that as long as she's the dominant voice in his life, reconciliation is impossible. That one condition exposes just how deep the mistrust runs between the two families. Brooklyn, on the other hand, has made his choice loud and clear. He's standing by Nicola, emotionally, publicly, and even professionally. He's not hiding his loyalty, and that's shaking things up even more. Now there's talk that Brooklyn's being courted to tell his side in a much bigger way. Rumors of a possible book deal have started circulating. This wouldn't just be a tell-all. It would dig into his childhood, his anxiety, and the moment he decided to step away from the Beckham brand altogether. If that deal ever becomes real, the fallout won't just be gossip, it'll be history. Because once something's written down, it's permanent. A book locks one version of the truth in stone and forces everyone else to play defense. And that idea reportedly terrifies the Beckhams. Meanwhile, Brooklyn's career moves keep everyone guessing. He's jumped from photography to cooking to publishing and brand collabs, all under the shadow of that famous last name. But lately, it feels like he's fighting to prove he doesn't need it anymore. Ever since Brooklyn married Nicola, everything about his identity has shifted. He's no longer chasing independence within his parents' world. He's living comfortably inside hers. And that tiny detail means way more than most people realize. In the Beckham household, success has always been earned under pressure. You grind, you polish, you prove your worth. But in the Peltz universe, success is funded, protected, and cushioned from failure. There's no rush, no stress, no need to hustle for validation. That quiet comfort might be exactly why David and Victoria feel like they're losing their son, not to rebellion, but to luxury. Brooklyn's not pushing back anymore. He's just relaxing into a life where everything's already done for him. And Nicola's world speaks for itself. Designer wardrobes, private jets, multi-million-dollar homes, and vacations most people couldn't dream of. Even when insiders try to downplay the money talk, the visuals don't lie. The couple isn't scaling back or trying to blend in. They're leaning deeper into their opulent lifestyle, and in doing so, they're quietly pulling further away from the Beckham universe. And that's what makes this feud so fascinating. It's not just about arguments or headlines, it's about imbalance. Two powerhouse families operating with totally different blueprints. One built their empire through discipline and exposure. The other guards its wealth behind closed doors.
And right now, Brooklyn stands right between those two worlds, trying to belong to both, but clearly living in one. One son caught between two empires, now standing firmly on one side. David and Victoria Beckham still hold on to hope, believing that time might be their secret weapon. They think that one day the noise will fade, that Brooklyn will start to miss his siblings, and that distance might finally cool the tension. But with every golden hour photo, every luxury escape, and every smiling post that screams peace and freedom, that hope starts to look weaker by the day. Because real reconciliation takes discomfort, and right now, Brooklyn looks perfectly comfortable. The question everyone's asking is the one no one can answer yet. Is this calm permanent, or are we just witnessing the quiet pause before the next explosion? Because as long as Victoria Beckham keeps those private messages locked away, and as long as Brooklyn continues to measure his freedom through distance from his family, this feud is nowhere near finished. And when it all erupts again, it won't be about wedding dresses or social media shade. It'll be about power, control, and who truly lost their son to a world money built. This story isn't just about a family divide. It's about what happens when love, pride, and wealth all collide at full speed. If you've been hooked on this saga, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Can Brooklyn ever come home again, or is this break forever?